In this week's Hello Dave, I'm going to be clarifying some misinformation regarding Elite Dangerous Odyssey. We're going to talk about some of the very interesting information that Dav Scott gave us doing Frontier's livestream last week. I'm going to be mentioning some of your comments regarding the lighting changes in Odyssey, and we're going to be talking about live streams and deep space mining. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hello Dave with Astronomy. First, I just want to quickly clarify some misinformation that's been floating around. Beginning of last week, I did get a few comments from people who seem to have been confused regarding whether your account is going to be wiped when Odyssey comes out, and that is not the case. I think the misinformation and maybe the confusion is coming from the fact that the alpha account is of course going to get wiped. That means anything you found on the alpha server, any materials you picked up over there, any credits you spent or got or collected doing the alpha test, it's not going to carry over. That is going to be wiped. But the commander you're playing on Horizon right now will carry over to Odyssey just as normal, and you could just continue to play the game as always. You can begin to go and explore all the new on-foot content that Odyssey brings, but it will be with the exact same characters, same ships, same money, same materials collected. Everything will carry over. Now, last week, Dav Scott joined the community team for their official live stream, where they talked a lot about the stuff going on behind the scenes with Elite Dangerous. And there was a few things that I thought was quite interesting. There was a lot of things that was quite interesting, and I highly recommend, if you're interested in that, to go and watch the VOD of that. One of the things he clarified regarding the new settlements, which we're going to get with Odyssey, is that their state is, of course, going to be influenced by the BGS and can also be influenced by players. One of the things he mentioned was that if you have a settlement and a lot of people go and steal the power regulator out of that settlement, well, the next day that settlement is going to be offline, and then the appropriate faction owning that settlement will then issue missions to go and power it back on again. So it seems like there's going to be some natural cycle for some of these settlements where first there will be some, anarchy faction that are issuing missions to go and steal the power regulator out of the settlement, and then maybe a few days later we're going to see missions to power that thing back on. So it's going to go on and off and on and off, on and off. So it seems like there is this natural cycle, and depends whether people are actually going to do those illegal missions at all. Because if they're not, then the cycle kind of dies, right? And it ends up in just an online state. And if nobody does the power off missions, then, well, we're never going to get the power on missions. But I hope there is some natural way that things will power down, maybe without people physically going and stealing the power core. Now, he also mentioned something regarding trade and the new surface settlements. So for all you space truckers out there, you do pay attention now. One of the things he said was, the way it is in Elite today is, of course, a lot of the materials we buy on stations, their prices are determined based on the station type and economy. So if you go to an agricultural station, you'll find a lot of food product. Go to a high-tech station, you'll find a lot of technology, commodity products, whatever. And those prices, of course, at those stations might be lower. Similarly, a lot of the new settlements that we're going to see on the planets in Odyssey is going to be designed around a specific purpose. So that might be their agricultural, maybe they are going to be manufacturing, maybe they're going to be military, maybe they're going to be scientific installations. There are lots of different purposes for these, and this is also going to be reflected with some of the materials that you're going to be able to buy at these settlements. Because these are going to be simulating where a lot of these materials are going to be produced, that means there's going to be a very favorable price on some of the materials on the surface outpost. So I think, space truckers, you should probably begin to prepare yourself that you're going to be spending quite a bit of time going planet side. So you're going to go down to the manufacturing plants that is on a planet surface, buy commodities, fly them up to a space station. And it actually makes quite a bit of sense that you would be manufacturing on a planet and then fly it up into space wherever it's needed. Next, I just want to talk about the lighting changes that is going to come in Odyssey as well. Last week I posted a video where I gave my feedback on things I would like to see change in Odyssey before it goes live, and one of them was, in my mind, that the game was just too dark. It was too difficult to see anything, and it was caused because of the new physics-based rendering lighting model, and a lot of you guys disagreed. And I posted a poll on my YouTube community page, and it seemed like over 50% of you said that you liked the lighting the way it was in the Odyssey Alpha just fine. And I think 30-something% said that you thought it was too dark. So it was a significant majority of people who thought that it was okay the way it was. And at first it puzzled me because I thought, well, I can't see my cockpit, I can only see half my ship, shadows are too hard. And I know it's very realistic the way it is right now, much more than what we have today. Then I actually realized that, of course, I might be biased in my opinions here because I also look at Odyssey both from a gamer's perspective, but definitely also as a content creator's perspective. If I take my gamer hat on, I can definitely say, yeah, cool, realistic lighting, love it. And if I then swap the cap and I take my content creator hat on, then I will say, oh, this is going to be really, really difficult to make pretty B-roll with so hard shadows. And as a lot of you guys correctly mentioned in the comment section, I would probably just have to go closer to a planet. So if I could find a planet with a nice light color, I could kind of use that as like the biggest softbox ever and have light bounce off that, get scattered off the surface and make that like a huge a huge softbox to kind of give me some even lighting and hopefully then smooth out those hard shadows that we otherwise will have if you're not close to a planet. So I hope that's something. I didn't actually go and test that part of the alpha yet, and to be honest, they're gonna make so many. They already have made so many changes to the lighting anyway that that wouldn't necessarily be the way it would carry over. But I thought it was an interesting discussion, and I just want to say a huge thank you to all the guys who took part in it under the video. I found it a really interesting read. Finally, I just want to talk about live streams. Tomorrow, of course, I will be live streaming, and the idea for this live stream actually came after a discussion over on my Discord server. We were sitting, some guys on one night, and we were sitting playing games, and chatting back and forth. And someone mentioned that they were having quite a bit of good luck finding core deposits when they were out in the middle of nowhere, out in the black. And I thought, well, yeah, that makes sense because you're out in a place where there's no one else, and if there's no one else, you should get more cores. So I thought, well, that might actually be interesting to go and test. Could this be a viable way to do core mining or make it a little bit more profitable, maybe? So basically take a fleet carrier, fly down the middle of nowhere, go mine core deposits out there in deep space, and then fly them back to the bubble. You just go like 2,000-3,000 light years outside the bubble, you should be plenty alone out there. And I thought that was actually quite an interesting thing to go and play around with. So that's what I'll be doing. I will be taking my carrier, the D28 North Star, out tomorrow, and I'll be flying it out in the middle of nowhere. Then we're going to take out a mining ship. We're going to go and look at core deposits in a hotspot, and we're going to see what we can find. And I mean, best case, if we find a good way to make some money with the fleet carrier, and well, worst case, I get a bit of mining out of it, which is always good. That will of course be live streamed both on YouTube and on Twitch, and it will be at 7 o'clock in-game time. I hope to see a lot of you guys there. That's been it for this week. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in space.